Hello there, and welcome to the fourth and final session of the Database Creating Forms lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to be showing you how to add command buttons to your form. We've dealt about how to create a simple form. We've talked about how to resize and edit the form. We've talked about how to add pictures and content and colors to the form. And now we're going to talk about, finally, how to add command buttons to do things like delete a record, add a record, go back, go forward. That's what we're going to be doing today. First thing you need to do is to open your form. I'll open mine. I want to talk about views again. I am in form view. Okay, to make sure that you make the changes, you need to move down to design view, which I'm going to do now. I'll go to design view. Once I get into design view, I make sure the design tab is selected. Okay, and in this box here, I want you to click down and make sure, okay, that use control wizards is selected. So make sure that you click it. Okay, so you click the down arrow, the drop down menu, and select use control wizards. Okay, and then on your form, the control buttons, I am going to put mine on the bottom here. Okay, first thing I'll do is I'll select this button here, which is called button. Click it once and then move your mouse cursor to the form. Now, as you can see, there is actually a little box showing, meaning you're about to enter a button. All you do is click and drag your mouse to create the button. So I'll click and drag, and my button has been created. And once my button is put on the form, a window opened, which I can use to control what my button does. So the first thing I will do is explain the different categories. There's record navigation, record operations, form operations is one, report operations is another, application is one, miscellaneous is one. We will start with record navigation, which basically deals with what the form is doing in terms of, is it going back and forth, is it finding a record, is it the last record or the first record. So we want this form to go to the first record. Okay, so I'll click go to first record. Now, as you can see, a little picture has come up showing this is what the form will look like. This sign here shows that I'm going back to the first record. I'll click on next. Okay, do I want a picture or do I want text? I'll select text if I want, but for this purpose I'm going to choose picture because I think the picture is much more better. I'll click on next, and then I want a name for the form, for the button. I will call, say, go to first record, and then I'll click on finish, and my button is created. Okay, this is my button, and when I click it, it will go to the first record. I want to create another button, so I'll click on the button shortcut. Once again, I'll come down and I'll click and drag to create my next button. Once again, I want to record navigation. You don't have to do it exactly as I'm doing it. You can do it the way you want it to. Record navigation. Okay, I am going to do one that says go back to the previous record. Okay, so you can go back once. So I'll click on go to previous record, and this is the picture that will show. I'll go click on next. Okay, do I want a picture or do I want text? I prefer a picture. Okay, I'll click on next, and I'll give it a name. Let's call it previous record, and click on finish. Once again, I have a button there that shows me going back to the previous record. I want to add another button as well. Let's click on my button again. I'll now scroll down and draw a button. Okay, and I'm now going to use record operations. Record operations will add a new record, will delete a record, will duplicate it, can print, can save, can undo. Okay, it's up to you on what you want to do on your form. I want to record where someone can add a new record. Okay, so I'll click on next, and this time I'm going to use text. And because I'm dealing with a database for a driving school, I want this button to add a new student. So I'll type in add new student. I'm not going to use a picture. I'm going to use text instead. I'll click on next, and I'll give it the same name again, add new student. Okay, and I'll click on finish. Okay, and I have another button there, and when you type stuff in here and you click add new student, it will be saved in the database. Okay, I am now going to add another command button. Click on button again. Okay, select it. I want record operations again. I'm going to choose the option to delete a record. Okay, I'll click on next, and once again I'll select a text, and this text I will do delete student account. It's very important that when you enter the text can actually tell the user what the button does. So delete student account. Okay, now click on finish. So I now have 4 buttons, one to go back to the first record, one to go back one way to the next record, one to add a new student, one to delete a new student. Okay, for the final one I could add another button. Let's say, let me draw another button, and I could do once again record operations, and I could do save record if I wanted, or I could do undo. It depends. Okay, I will probably choose print record because it will be good for if someone wants to print something from the database. So instead of picture, I could choose a picture, as you can see here, of a printer, but I'm going to use text instead, and print record is just fine. I'll click on next, call it print record. Okay, and click on finish. Okay, and I want to see how my form looks like. My form currently looks a little bit wonky. Okay, because if I scroll down, okay, I have my buttons there. If I click on back, it should go back, but because it hasn't been saved and it hasn't been set up properly, it will not work as yet. Okay, but currently everything seems exactly as it should. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I am going to go back to design view. I want to correct the wonkiness of my form. These are not in line. I would like them to be aligned properly. If I click the button that I want to align and click on format, arrange, okay, there should be a way I can align them. If I click on the align button, okay, you can align your buttons to the grid, okay, so they fit in and they look a little bit more presentable. Okay, so just go to align and align them to the grid to make them look a little bit more presentable, make them look in line. Okay, and that is how you add command buttons to your form.